Hey guys, Ash here from Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. I am not alone. I am thrilled to be joined by good old HH Gaming Network, aka Saf. Saf, what's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good. We're here to talk about some math.
Some math. Scary.
Right, I've been doing some math with Drop, and you summoned me. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about more math.
Yeah, man, I saw you on Drock's channel, and I was like,
but I wanted to do it with you.
Dude, I got to do a video on something similar to this, because I've been mentioning for a long time that one of the big things that Raid needs to solve, and first of all, the portal right now, there's nothing going on in the in-game portal, dude. Like, isn't it weird to see it not blazing? It's like there's no event right now.
Uncomfortable.
What's going on, Plarium?
This place is expensive to keep up.
I don't know. Is this thing broken, you know?
Is it broken? Is it broken, man?
Your life is not stopping because of this.
But I want to talk about, like, it's kind of a bed of lies or psychological gimmicks and tricks to make you think that there's actually a good chance of getting these champions when you pull shards in this game. And anecdotally, we both freaking summoned a lot and not gotten who we wanted to get, right?
We have.
The proof is in the pudding. There's plenty of summoning videos here, shard openings. But the odds are atrocious in some areas, maybe better than some people might expect in other areas. And I want to kind of end this conversation with what does Plarium need to do to make some of these newer champions more accessible? What solutions could there be long term? Because it's when you've been playing this game for any amount of time, at first, like, everybody's new and a lot of champions can help you, and it's awesome. And they actually do a good job of giving like a really robust roster of free champions or farmable champions in this game. So there's a lot to actually be happy about in Raid here in 2025, but there's a lot to be upset about in these progressive chance events specifically. I want to ask you a question that has nothing to do with any of that stuff, but you're the guy to know.
Here we go again.
Area bonuses, bro. Are they ever gonna like add Chimera to this? Do you know?
So they publicly come out and said like, oh, we don't plan to do it. But the developer, the designer in me, is just like, why wouldn't you? I mean, right? It's like almost like
I'm hoarding my medals, bro, because I'm waiting.
It's almost like
do it.
You basically say to someone, hey, do you want $1,000 to do something? And like someone would be like, yeah, of course I would. It would, you know, like, why wouldn't I? And I feel like that's the example we've got here. It's like, you've already got Demon Lord, you've already got Hydra.
Yeah, what the heck?
Like, why would you not? Even though they've come out and said that they're not going to do it, I'm hoarding my live arena medals.
I missed that. They said they're not going to do it? I'm hoarding my medals too.
They have come out and said they weren't going to do it, but I still think they will. Like, it might not be like in 4 months or 5 months, but it's just like, it's such an easy solution or easy fix. Like, I would do it.
So it's the only area of the whole damn game they're not going to put in here? That's dumb to me, but...
not interested in clickbait. Can be assured.
Sorry, I'm such a digression, man. Talk about not delivering what people clicked on in the video. But one little quick, like, dude, does it annoy the hell out of you, man, that you can't take the gold medals and change them into the other crests? The other, yeah, I have to pay full price in gold medals.
I'll be honest, the medal system is a bit of a foe. What I mean by that is like, you leave bronze before you even upgrade like 2 bronze things.
I know.
It's
the most infuriating thing.
Virtually pointless even existing. I don't really know why the system was built like that.
I hate it.
And actually, there's not even much benefit, if that makes sense, because it's always like the same cost, right? You pay the same fee.
Yeah. Okay.
So the only difference is you just can't upgrade. So
another video for another day.
I don't really know the points.
Holy crap, that annoys the heck out of me.
Let's leave the room.
Okay, guys, sorry about that little tangent here, but catching up with Saf, right?
I feel like we need like some sort of, like, I don't know, area bonus therapy session, right?
We do. I need an area bonus therapy session, man. Like, I'm just giving the people a totally different video. Who cares?
Me, I guess.
All right, back to the basics here. I have I want to talk about the odds. It's not going to be too intensive on the math here, I promise you guys. But I actually, you know what? You can take a look at this chart, guys, and I'll have it. If Saf will be kind enough to allow me to share it with you guys, I will. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video if you guys want to check it. Actually, you just screenshot it. Screenshot, right? This is back in 2021. There were 85 non-void legendaries, right, in the game. Non-void 85, and it shows you your escalating chances: 10x, 15x, 20x, 25x. Saf, like, awesome to put this together, especially comparing back then to now. What are your odds to get a Lego, right? To get to a specific, right? And then, you know, on a 10, on a 15, on a 20, on a 25, to get that one specific escalating chance legendary. And then we have voids. First of all, man, like, you knew it obviously intuitively, but to see the number of legendaries, 85 and now 198 and on the non-voids, that's not all of them. There's actually 266 when you add in the voids, and this doesn't include the faction lords, right?
It's one of the things that we discovered in Drock's videos. There's actually quite a lot of legendaries you can't summon regularly.
Yeah.
There's like 44 now. Because
Whoa.
you factor in all the freebies you get from Doom Tower and,
The exclusive
Hydra.
Ultra Queens and
Exactly. And also you factor in every Unity because they're not in the pool, plus the exclusive Monster Hunters and Xena and He-Man, a couple of the others. It's actually quite a large amount. If you think like the whole non-void legendary pool right now that you can summon is 198 and there's an additional 44. That's like a good chunk of characters that you can't get anymore, which is quite insane.
So they do these things on these escalating chances. This is supposed to be their response to this pain point of like, okay, you come up with all these new champions, fantastic, I'm excited, they all look awesome, they all look cool, I want them on my account, but how am I going to get them? There's 1,000 champions in the game, how am I going to get my hands on them? So they have the escalating chances, the 15, the 20, the 25, the progressive, chance events.
Yes.
And it's psychologically, like, I've fallen prey to it. I'm not above it because it keeps you pulling and buying because you don't hit it on the 15. You got a 7.1% chance to hit it on the 15, right? So you're not going to hit it. And then you get on the 20, you get a 9.2, but like it doesn't feel that way. It feels when you're doing it that, okay, I didn't hit the 15x, I pulled a different legendary. But now I've got a 20x, baby. I'm gonna buy because now I'm gonna hit it. And then you don't hit it, and then you're like, okay, that's it. I'm on a 25x. Give me the legendary. You got 11% chance to get your non-void legendary.
It's actually, there's a worse feeling actually that I think with this. It is not so much that you feel like you're getting closer. It feels like actually FOMO. And what I mean by this is I'm never going to get a better opportunity at getting this character because I don't know when it's going to come back on a times 15. And I've already hit times 25 because I got lucky and I got some legendary. So
ooh, that's a good point.
Every shard that I pull now has this like greater importance value because it has this like weighted advantage that I may never get again. And I really, really don't like. I don't have a Kai'Ma. It's been a long-running joke. I don't have a Kai'Ma. I don't have a Crixia. I don't have a lockout like a Warlord or a Yumiko. So it's actually kind of a bit of a gap in my roster. So when it comes up, and I had one instance where I had a times 25 on a Kai'Ma, and I was like, should I actually go and get some more shards? Because I'm never going to get a better opportunity. And you don't realize it, but they've actually created a solution to a problem that actually creates FOMO. And it's when they first released it, it was probably okay. But now that it's in its current situation, when you actually do the numbers and look at it, you go, this is actually almost like punitive. I use this word sometimes to describe the systems in the sense they didn't actually make it better. They actually found a way to make it look better, but actually make it worse.
It's really evil genius level, the way they did this. It's evil genius. Like someone's a genius for coming up with this system. And it's an evil. It's
probably made a huge amount of money as well, like the clever system that it is.
It's a ton of money. This is insane. And the reason we're making this video is to really actually point out the chances so you're at least aware of it, right? Like it opened my eyes. And by the way, the void odds you can see too. Like back in the day, if a void was on a back in 2021, if a void was on a 25x hypothetically, you'd get an almost 50% chance of getting that void. Nowadays it's 27, and that's 25x. Now, Saf, I mean, the unsaid thing, the unspoken truth here is that you actually have to get a legendary in order to get these odds even opened up to you, right? Like these are not, the chance that you pull one sacred shard, you're going to get the champion is 11%. That'd be beautiful. No, this is the chance of if you get a 6% to get a legendary on a sacred shard, then you have a 7.1% chance. So we did a little bit of ChatGPT math, didn't we, Saf? You're not a fan usually, but you may accept
this is a work of art.
Yeah, I'm becoming a bit of a convert. The team that we've got over at Fateless and a bunch of others is some pretty cool heads on AI, and they're convincing me that slowly AI might be good, but I'm still not convinced. But for this kind of exercise, it's actually an excellent service, an excellent tool, because it kind of gets you and it shows you the equation. And if anyone wants to double check the math, even I did some math mistakes on one of my previous videos, like math's hard. It is a really good, useful tool for it.
I'll share a simple chart that you put together. Thank you, Saf. But in a moment. But just to show our work here in the ChatGPT. Basically, okay, we're gonna start with a ancient shard. There it is. Sorry, I was not scrolled down enough. If there's a 0.5% chance to roll a legendary, and there's a 7.1% chance to roll a specific legendary only if you do get a legendary, at least they understand my typos, on the initial 1% roll, what are the odds to pull this specific legendary? So, meaning, in layman's terms, you pull one sacred shard, what are the odds to get the boosted legendary, right?
Yeah.
On the initial 15x boost.
Yeah. The good old ancient shard, one hope pull dream kind of scenario. It's like I pull one, the world's going to come into my favor and give me everything that I want kind of.
Indeed.
We know is so unlikely, and I guess we're going to find out exactly how unlikely it is.
Yeah, it's a 0.0355 percentage. And what is that divided by 1? That is 1 in 2,816 ancient shards. And that's an independent chance on every ancient shard to get the boosted. What about sacreds? 6% to roll a legendary, the same verbiage otherwise. You're looking at a 1 in 235 rounded up chance of getting your hands on that specific legendary in one sacred shard, and they charge what, like
$20?
$20? 20 pounds per. So you get a 1 in 235 shot for your one sacred shard to get your hands. And here's a nice, neat math. Here's a nice, neat math, guys. Enjoy. A nice, neat chart for you guys to actually see the odds of getting your hands on that specific legendary on your shard pull. Dude, we don't have to make this video super long, but I think it's important. I did want to end, though, with getting your thoughts on what this game is 6 years old now, man. Like, what can they do to mitigate some of this whole shard issue, the getting your hands on new champions issue? Obviously, there's the guaranteed events. Anything beyond that? What are your opinions? You're the game designer.
Well, yeah. So I think this is a classic example of a designer taking their eye off the ball and waiting for the player to complain about it, right? We see this a lot. I've actually been monitoring a situation with League at the moment where they've had a situation where they've been trying to deal with a game design problem in their economy, and they fixed it, and then the player base went off on one, and then they're reacting to the player base. And I think this is one of those situations that Raid are kind of going, well, we've solved this system, we've designed it, it's fine, right? When they were all complaining, everyone's just saying about ×10, we put progressives in, but nobody's actually sitting there looking at the raw economic value of going, well, hang on, when we first put progressives in, probably it was okay because you were getting a meaningful increase when you started at least getting to the higher levels. And ×15, it was always better at ×10. So immediately the psychological thing is it's 50% better than what we had, even when it came out, there was fair criticism that it still wasn't even that good. The problem is now, that's been like 12 months, maybe even 18 months. I can't remember when progressive came in, but it's been a while. They've added a tremendous amount more Unity, Standard, Void legendaries. These pools grown, right, in that period of time. And every time you add more, you make the odds worse. And someone should be sitting in the background going, at what point do we trigger the next step to make it a fair acquisition? They've added new systems, like the Prism system is actually the best way to get a targeted champion, right? The headline champion will be the best way for you to ever get one champion if you want to go for it. The only problem is you have to buy them, right? That's a bit of a pain point.
It's weird, too, because that's the best way to get your headline champion. But for whatever reason, psychologically, that feels the worst to me, which I guess is what they want me to feel.
Well, because you can't get it after you've got one, right? So what's great about the Prisms it's a very small pool. So it's the best way, for example, to get +4 epics. I've got 2 Ruellas because she's been in 3 different Prism events that I pulled on, and I keep getting Ruella. So I've got 2 +4 Ruellas because of Prism events, but I cannot get any sort of whispers or anything because she doesn't really appear in whisper. They don't really put voids in there, right? So Prisms are really, really good for +4 epics and getting a specific legendary. It's the best system on the market. But nobody behind the scenes is sitting there going, that progressive system we put in, which was meant to be a solution to the ×10 complaint, nobody's really complaining about it, so it's fine. We'll just leave it be. When really, when you look at it now, a ×25 is only fractionally better than what we had with ×10 back in 2021.
Yeah.
And that's the summary that for me, it's that we've progressed 4 years, right? We're just beyond 4 years and a month. And in those 4 years, it's now pretty much worse because if you think about it, you have to get 3 legendaries to get the same chance you were getting to get 1 legendary.
Yeah.
So they need to probably go and say ×25 minimum to times 30 to times 35, or maybe it needs to be times 30 times 40 times 50. It has to be an aggressive step up. I think times 40 is probably too far. I always like to look at these things and to say there should be parity, you know? It should.
So the solution
progress.
in your mind is basically like they're on the right track. It's just disgustingly too low. Is that fair to say?
Increase it. Just double it. I would literally, if I was designing this right now, because I wouldn't want to take away from, they'll say this phrase a lot, and I think it's really important for the community to understand what, you know, Drock mentioned it, he's worked in software engineering and sales and stuff like that, and I currently working in a team in design. When they sit there sometimes and say it takes away from other departments, there is a level of truth to that, right? We want these chimera bosses and we want these systems. I could go in there in 5 minutes and fix this problem. You go in, you find the number where it currently says that it's times 15, and you go times. I was like, literally on a keyboard. Yeah. Minus, type 0.03. Voila, we solved the problem, right? Okay, there's an economy balance to this. I mean, I don't want to say it's a silver bullet, because obviously you need to still make sure it feels good. But in terms of like the solution, if we just simply wanted to give back to the player a little bit without necessarily. And again, a big statement that some comments will be like, oh, well, they'll lose money. Well, no, because if it feels like it's worth pulling, more people will buy shards. Okay. Emotional experience. Like we have this, what you just said, I'm getting closer to that times 25. It feels like I'm getting closer, so I'm emotionally invested in summoning shards. The problem is when people realize after their emotional investment, it doesn't happen, there's only so many times you sort of get kicked while you're down before you just no longer stand back up. And I think that's where they're at with this system, right? I think a lot of people see another progressive system. They're like, well, I probably won't get the champion. What's the point? Yeah. Double it. Okay. Literally just double it. Easy solution. Just double it. I mean, I actually haven't seen a lot of people comment on. What do you think about, like, a final question for you is, what do you think about just having a more, like, I play other games in the genre, you know, and in King Arthur and Watcher of Realms, I feel like they just have these banners all the time, where, you know, obviously there's fewer champions, so there are heroes, they're much easier to get, but I feel like they're just guaranteed. They do a lot of guaranteed, and the prices can be high on some of those guaranteed, but they do them all the time, you know, like, hey, after 300 ancient shards, you're guaranteed on this legendary or whatever. Like, it's just like a built-in mercy for the specific legendary. I mean, I don't know if Plarium would ever do that, but frankly, I don't know if Plarium would ever do what you're suggesting and doubling the rates. So do you think that's a viable solution? You know, like, obviously there's easier things to ask for, like, hey, just give us free champions more often, or whatever, you know, stuff like that. But, like, do you think that's a viable solution, like more guaranteed for new champions? Well, they kind of have a banner system with the Prism systems, right? That is Raid's interpretation of a banner system, which is like, but it's not guaranteed. It's so far from guaranteed, though. You know, I think it's not. But that's what. But what you have to understand with Raid Shadow Legends is they will take the ideas from other games and then make them significantly more challenging. That's just the methodology of every system that I've ever seen. Like, you know, you've got systems in Summoning Wars where you can re-roll stats, but we have Chaos Or that re-rolls the entire item. You know, it's always the case. You take the item from somewhere of another game idea, and then they just will make it not worse, but just harder, like more punitive. All right, well, guys, so I think Prism is fine. My actual point that I was going to say with the King Arthur banner system that I actually don't quite like is it makes the player feel like they have to basically ignore the other shards. They're not valuable anymore, because the only time you can ever get the new champion is with this like secondary summoning crystal. So there's balances to these that actually, you know, in King Arthur's example, we've covered it a couple of times. If you don't summon it on that banner in that 2-week window, you can't get that champion now for another, like, that hero for another like 4 months. And that to me is like even more punitive, because even though I know there's a very slim chance, there's always a world of luck that I could possibly pull a Kaimar out of a shard. If Kaimar just wasn't even available because he only came as a new character on a banner, you know, I can see the merits, and I can also see the punishment to even free-to-play players who can't get these exclusive materials. So it's two ways. No, you're right. It's a good counterpoint. Guys, I mean, let us know in the comments, what do you think? How do you feel? Are you surprised by these numbers that we kind of put out there? And you know, what is your reaction to this? It's probably not a shocker to a lot of you guys, but I know that even I can get caught up in the hype of the summoning and the escalating odds and the everything, the bells and the whistles. This is what you're supposed to focus on. So let us know what you think of these numbers, and also let us know what you think of the possible solutions to make things a little bit easier here moving forward. Sav, thanks so much again, man. You're always such a pleasure to have on. Everybody, if you're not subscribed to HH Gaming Network, make sure you check that out. Any final words or thoughts before we let you go, man? No, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the people like listening to some math. I know math isn't the most exciting for many people, but hopefully from this people kind of get an understanding of what is my actual experience going to result in, because I think that's important. Like when you go into these events, you just need to know what you're getting into, right? What is likely going to happen, so you don't get yourself overly disappointed and being misled. That's the key thing that I always like to make sure. That's
exactly why I wanted to make this video, right? Like, so at least regardless of what you think of it, and knowing's half the battle. So guys, on that, we will let you go. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care, guys.